Hey everybody, and welcome to another deep dive. Today we're looking into somebody that I'm sure you're all familiar with, Mr. Beast. But we're going to be going a little deeper than just his viral videos and those crazy expensive stunts that he does.
Right.
We're using his Wikipedia article as the source material for this deep dive.
Cool.
And just to let you know, we're using the information on his Wikipedia article as of January 18th, 2025.
Sounds good.
So...
Mr. Beast is obviously much more than just a YouTuber, right?
Absolutely.
The guy's got a whole brand, and even like a business empire going on.
He's an empire.
Philanthropic efforts, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and it's pretty amazing how he's managed to do it all, like be so successful on YouTube and then translate that into all these other things.
It's true, yeah, and to like start so young too.
Yeah.
He started his YouTube channel back in 2012.
Wow.
When he was only 13 years old.
That's incredible.
Think about that. Mr. Beast 6000 was his original name.
And what I think is so interesting too is that when he started, he wasn't doing these crazy videos that we see now.
No.
He was doing Let's Plays. He was making videos about how much money other YouTubers were making.
Like commentary videos.
He was like commenting on other YouTube drama and stuff.
Yeah, like typical kind of stuff that you would see in the early days of YouTube.
Totally.
It wasn't anything like groundbreaking.
Yeah.
But I guess he saw an opportunity to do something different.
Right, and he actually ended up dropping out of college to pursue YouTube full-time.
Really?
Which...
That's a bold move.
Yeah, I mean, it really is, you know?
Especially when you think about how young he was at the time.
His mom was not thrilled about it.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But clearly it paid off in a big way.
It definitely did.
But how did he figure out, that formula?
Yeah.
What makes a Mr. Beast video tick?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with his understanding of the YouTube algorithm and what viewers are looking for. Like, he's mastered the art of clickbait titles and thumbnails that are impossible to scroll past.
Yeah.
And then the videos themselves are just so engaging.
They are.
And entertaining, and they keep you watching until the very end.
And the pacing is perfect, right?
Yeah, he really knows how to hook you in and keep you on the edge of your seat.
Yeah, and there's like these three main categories that the article mentions, like what his videos fall into, and there's stunts. The Junk Lord videos.
Junk Lord.
And then the giveaways.
Okay, I've heard of Junk Lord.
Yeah, Junk Lord, he buys or uses like extravagant amounts of stuff.
Yeah, like just ridiculous amounts.
Like crazy amounts.
Like that's what makes them so entertaining.
Like building a house out of Legos, for example.
Right.
Filling a swimming pool with Orbeez.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that one.
And the stunts, I mean, come on.
Yeah, those are wild.
I opened a free bank.
Oh, wow.
Last to leave circle wins $100,000.
That's crazy.
Like, he just keeps upping the ante.
Yeah, he always finds a way to make them bigger and better.
And then you have the giveaways.
Right.
Like extreme $500,000 game of tag.
Oh, my gosh.
Or giving a random homeless man $10,000.
Wow.
Like, he is the real-life Willy Wonka.
It's true, except instead of chocolate, he's giving away money.
Yeah, cash money.
Which is arguably better.
Yeah.
Depending on who you ask.
But it's true. Like, he's giving away cars, houses, all this kind of stuff.
And it's not just the money. It's the way he does it. Like, it's always so creative and over the top.
Yeah.
You can't help but watch.
With each video, he just keeps upping the scale.
Right. Like, it's a constant escalation.
It's like a calculated formula for success.
It is. He's figured out what works, and he just keeps refining it and making it bigger and better.
And that's what allows him to, attract more sponsors.
Right, because the more views he gets, the more attractive he becomes to sponsor.
Wait, and then he gets more money from sponsors.
Yeah.
And then he can make even bigger videos.
It's a self-perpetuating cycle.
It is.
And it's working really well for him.
It really is.
But, with that level of success comes a lot of scrutiny.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to get into that in a little bit.
We are.
Because there are definitely some controversies surrounding his methods and his business practices.
Totally. And it's not just limited to his YouTube channel anymore either. Like, this guy has built an empire.
Yeah, he's got Mr. Beast Burger, Feastables.
He's investing in tech startups.
He's everywhere.
And we're going to dig into all of that.
Let's do it.
In this deep dive, because it's fascinating how he's taken that YouTube fame and turned it into this...
into a whole business.
Whole other thing.
A whole brand.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that.
This is going to be good.
We'll be right back. So we've talked about his YouTube success, his business savvy, but there's another side to Mr. Beast that I think is just as fascinating.
Yeah.
If not more so.
Definitely.
Mr. Beast, the philanthropist.
Yeah, he's really made a name for himself in that area.
He has. It's like he's woven philanthropy into his brand.
Yeah. It's true. It's not just something he does on the side. It's a core part of his content.
Yeah, and it's clearly resonating with people.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And we can't talk about Mr. Beast's philanthropy without talking about hashtag Team Tree.
The hashtag Team Trees.
Yeah, the hashtag Team Seas. I mean, these campaigns were game changers.
You were massive.
It wasn't just the amount of money they raised.
Yeah.
It was the way they mobilized a whole global community around environmental causes.
Yeah, it was really inspiring to see.
So hashtag Team Trees started back in 2019.
Okay.
The goal was to plant 20 million trees
Ambitious.
by raising $20 million.
And they did it.
They did?
They actually surpassed the goal, right?
Yeah, by a lot.
Which is amazing.
Like, as of June 5th, 2024, they've planted over 24.7 million trees.
Wow, that's incredible.
It's insane.
It just shows you the power of online communities.
It does, and the influence that he has. Like,
Yeah.
he's got this massive platform, and he's using it for good.
And people are responding to it.
They are, and then came hashtag Team Seas in 2021. Even more ambitious.
Yeah.
They wanted to remove 30 million pounds of trash
From the ocean.
from the oceans.
That's a huge undertaking.
It is, and they exceeded that goal, too.
Really?
Yeah, they raised over $33.7 million.
Wow.
It's crazy.
He's like the king of gamifying giving.
He is. He's figured out how to make it fun and engaging.
Yeah, it's not like your typical boring charity drive.
Right, and that's what makes it so effective, especially with younger generations.
Right, they want to be part of something bigger than themselves.
That's it.
They want to make a difference.
And he's given them a way to do that.
Yeah, tangible, impactful way.
And it's not just these big collaborative projects either.
Yeah.
He has his own charity, Beast Philanthropy,
Yeah.
and it's funded entirely by his YouTube channel revenue.
That's awesome.
It is. They're doing some really incredible work,
Like what?
like providing food and clean water,
Oh, wow.
supporting education, technology access.
It's great that he's using his platform to give back in so many ways.
He is, but this is where things get a little more complex.
Yeah.
Because there's been some debate about whether this kind of philanthropy
Yeah.
is actually exploitative.
Exploitative.
Yeah, like some people argue that it's more about generating views and boosting his own image
I can see that.
than it is about genuinely helping people.
Right, like the whole charity porn argument.
Yeah, and it's a valid criticism.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no denying these videos get millions of views.
Yeah.
And that translates to revenue for him.
Right, so it's hard to know what his true motivations are.
It is. Is it genuine altruism?
Yeah,
Or is there a calculated element to it?
that's the question.
That's a tough one.
It is, and I think each viewer has to answer that for themselves.
Yeah, there's no easy answer.
But I think regardless of the motivations,
Yeah.
real good is being done.
Right.
I mean, millions of dollars have been raised, millions of trees have been planted,
Countless lives have been impacted.
so you can't really argue with the results.
I know. It's a bit of a paradox.
It is.
And it kind of makes you wonder about the man behind it all.
Yeah, like what's Jimmy Donaldson really like
Right, when the cameras are off.
when he's not doing these crazy stunts?
Because the Wikipedia article actually describes him as an introvert, which I found surprising.
Yeah, you wouldn't know it from his videos.
No, you wouldn't.
He seems very outgoing and energetic.
Yeah, so it just goes to show you
Like,
we don't
yeah.
really know the full story.
We only see what he wants us to see.
Exactly. And speaking of surprises,
No.
did you know he's engaged to Thea Boyson?
No way.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It is. Their Christmas engagement announcement was like straight out of a fairy tale.
That's sweet.
It was. And speaking of fairy tales,
Uh-oh.
did you know he was actually invited to be on that Ocean Gate Titanic submersible?
The one that imploded?
Yeah.
You're kidding?
No.
He was going to go on that.
He was invited.
Wow.
He turned it down.
Dodged a bullet there.
He did.
That's scary to think about.
It's a reminder that life is fragile.
It really is.
And that even these,
Yeah.
high-profile individuals,
Right.
they face real risks.
They do.
And it also leads us to a more serious aspect of his story,
Okay.
the controversy.
Yeah, we can't ignore those.
We can't, because for all the good he's done,
Right.
there have been some serious allegations.
What kind of allegations?
Allegations of a toxic work environment.
Really?
Yeah.
I hadn't heard about that.
And then there's the more recent controversies surrounding his former employee,
Okay.
Chris, who now goes by Ava
Ava, okay.
Tyson.
Right.
These are sensitive topics, but they're important to discuss.
Yeah, absolutely. We need to acknowledge that there are real people involved.
Yes.
And sometimes those stories don't align with the carefully crafted image.
They don't. So let's start with the allegations of a toxic work environment.
Okay.
Several former employees have spoken out,
Okay.
claiming that he was verbally abusive, demanding,
Wow.
created an unsustainable work environment.
That's not good.
It's not, and the Wikipedia article actually cites specific examples.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so there's Matt Turner, who worked as an editor from 2018 to 2019.
Okay.
He claims that he was regularly belittled, overworked,
Yeah,
even called derogatory names.
That's awful.
It is.
If that's true.
Yeah, and then there's Nate Anderson, who only lasted a week before quitting.
A week.
A week.
Wow.
He cited unreasonable demands,
Yeah.
a perfectionistic attitude that made the job unbearable.
Sounds tough.
He even received death threats from fans after sharing his experience.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
It's a reminder that this world of online content creation can be pretty intense.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure.
To constantly be producing viral content.
Exactly.
You outdo yourself every time.
And it can come at a cost.
It can.
Now, of course, Mr. Beast has denied these allegations.
Okay.
He stated that he has high standards, but that his work environment is not toxic.
Right, so it's his word against theirs.
It is, and the article even mentions that he gave Matt Turner $10,000.
Really?
Yeah. After he left.
And helped him find another job.
Huh.
After his contract ended.
Interesting.
So it's a classic he said, they said situation.
It is.
And it's difficult to know the full truth.
Yeah, without being there ourselves.
Exactly.
Can't really judge.
We can't, and it's important to remember that there are always multiple perspectives.
Right.
It's rarely black and white.
It's not.
It's not. Which brings us to the situation with Ava Tyson,
Okay.
one of the original members of the Mr. Beast crew.
Yeah, I remember her.
This is a more recent controversy.
Yeah.
And it's particularly sensitive because it involves allegations of sexual misconduct.
Oh, wow.
With minors.
That's serious.
It is, and back in July 2024,
Okay.
Mr. Beast removed Tyson from the brand after these allegations surfaced.
I see.
And the Wikipedia article actually mentions specific accusations.
Like what?
Claims that Tyson made inappropriate jokes.
Okay.
Pressured a former employee for sexual favors. That's not good.
There's even mention of an alleged victim known online as Lavaga Jess, who initially denied the claims,
Okay.
but later recanted, stating that the interactions with Tyson were inappropriate for his age.
So it's kind of a back and forth situation.
It is. It's very messy.
Yeah.
And it's important to remember these are just allegations.
Right.
And Tyson has denied them vehemently,
Okay.
stating that she willingly stepped away from the brand
All right.
and that the decision was mutual.
So it's her word against the accusers.
It is, but there have been some developments since then.
Oh, really?
Mr. Beast actually hired an independent law firm
Okay.
to investigate these allegations.
Interesting.
And their findings were released in November 2024.
And what did they find?
Well, after conducting 39 interviews
Wow.
and reviewing millions of documents,
That's thorough.
the firm concluded that the allegations against Tyson were baseless.
Baseless.
They said they found no evidence to support the claims. And they even mentioned that the alleged victims themselves rejected the accusations,
Really?
calling them massive lies.
That's a big twist.
It is a big twist, so where does that leave us?
Yeah, no,
There's still a lot of uncertainty surrounding this situation.
for sure.
It's a reminder that online accusations can be incredibly damaging,
It can be, yeah.
and it's important to allow for due process.
Absolutely.
In this case, the independent investigation has cast doubt on the allegations against Tyson,
Right.
but the situation remains complex and emotionally charged.
It does.
And then we have the whole Beast Games controversy.
Beast Games. What's that?
This is his foray into reality TV,
Oh, wow.
a massive competition series
Yep.
produced in collaboration with Amazon MGM Studios,
Not kidding.
set to air on Prime Video.
So he's going Hollywood.
The scale of this project is mind-boggling.
How so?
1,000 contestants
1,000.
competing for a $5 million prize.
That's insane.
It's being touted as the biggest reality competition series ever.
Wow. So what's the controversy?
Well, contestants have come forward
Oh, no.
with complaints about horrific conditions during filming.
Horrific conditions.
Yeah, like being denied food, water, medication,
What?
even beds.
You're kidding.
Nope.
That's terrible.
Some were even hospitalized due to injuries and exhaustion.
Oh, my gosh.
Sounds like a nightmare.
It does.
And a class action lawsuit was filed in September 2024
Against who?
against Mr. Beast,
Wow.
Amazon,
Okay.
and the production companies involved.
So they're saying it was their fault.
Yeah, the lawsuit alleges widespread mistreatment and exploitation of contestants,
Jeez.
claiming that they were subjected to dangerous conditions, sexual harassment,
This is harassment, too.
even unpaid wages and expenses.
That's awful.
It's a stark contrast to the image of generosity and positivity that he cultivates.
It is.
And it gets worse. The lawsuit also mentions something about tax fraud.
Tax fraud.
Yeah, it alleges that the production company forced contestants to sign illegal contracts
Oh, no.
and provide false information to the state of Nevada
To do what?
in order to secure unearned tax credits.
Wow, that's a whole other level of messed up.
It is. It's a tangled web of accusations.
It is.
And it remains to be seen how this will all play out in court.
Yeah, this could get ugly.
It could. On one hand, we have this seemingly generous YouTuber who's dedicated to giving back.
Right.
But then we see these allegations of mistreatment, exploitation, even illegal activity.
It's a very different picture.
It is. It's a reminder that public image and reality don't always align.
They don't. And it raises some important questions about the ethics of influencer culture.
Yeah.
The pressures of fame, the lengths people will go to for success.
Totally. But amidst all the controversy, there's one more aspect of Mr. Beast's life that I think is worth exploring.
What's that?
His personal views.
His personal views.
Because for someone with such a massive platform, you'd think he'd be more vocal about his political beliefs.
Yeah, or his social stances.
Exactly.
So what does he believe?
Well, the article describes him as apolitical.
Apolitical?
Yeah, he stated that he wants to avoid alienating any part of his audience because it would interfere with his charitable work.
I can understand that.
Right.
He wants to reach as many people as possible.
Exactly.
But he has hinted at a possible future in politics, right?
He has. He said in interviews that he might consider running for president of the United States.
President.
In like 20 years.
Wow, that's ambitious.
It is. And he recently even tweeted that he'd run if the age requirement was lowered.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so maybe a future president, Mr. Beast, isn't completely out of the question.
That would be interesting.
It would, but what about his stance on other social issues?
Yeah, like LGBTQ plus rights.
Exactly, because there's been some controversy surrounding his views on the LGBTQ plus community.
Right, I remember hearing about that.
So this is a complex area, and the article highlights some of the nuances.
Like what?
So Mr. Beast has spoken about his upbringing in a very religious environment.
Okay.
In the Bible Belt.
Right.
Where he was exposed to a lot of anti-LGBTQ plus rhetoric.
I see.
And he's even admitted to using homophobic slurs in the past.
Oh, no.
Which, of course, has drawn criticism.
Yeah, that's definitely problematic.
It is, but it sounds like he's evolved in his thinking.
How so?
Well, the article mentions a shift in his attitudes in recent years.
Okay.
He publicly defended Ava Tyson when she began hormone replacement therapy.
That's
even calling out the transphobia surrounding the situation.
Wow.
And after Tyson came out as a trans woman, he continued to support her.
That's great.
So it sounds like he's on a journey of personal growth.
Yeah.
Grappling with past mistakes and evolving his views.
Happens?
It does. It's a reminder that people are capable of change.
They are.
And that holding public figures accountable for their past actions can be a catalyst for that growth.
Right, but it's also important to acknowledge the harm caused by those past actions.
It is.
Even if there's evidence of change.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
Mr. Beast's rise to fame, his business ventures,
philanthropy,
the controversies, even his personal views.
It's been a deep dive indeed.
It has, but the question remains, what's the lasting impact of this YouTube titan?
Yeah, how will he be remembered?
What's his legacy?
That's a good question.
That's what we'll be exploring in our final segment.
Okay.
We'll delve into the Mr. Beastification of YouTube.
Interesting.
His influence on a generation of creators.
Yeah.
And what might be next for this enigmatic figure.
Can't wait.
All right, so we're back, and we've really gotten a good look at Mr. Beast, haven't we?
Yeah, it's amazing how far he's come from those early Let's Play videos to this whole empire he's built.
Seriously, in such a short amount of time, too.
It makes you wonder what his long-term impact is going to be.
Right, not just on YouTube, but on, like, culture in general.
Yeah, because you can't deny his influence at this point.
I mean, everyone knows who Mr. Beast is.
He's a household name.
You say Mr. Beast, and people immediately picture, like...
the crazy stunts.
Yeah, those giant sets.
Millions of dollars.
All that cash he gives away.
He's kind of set a new standard for what it means to be a YouTube star.
Hasn't he? It's like...
he's definitely raised the bar when it comes to production value.
Yeah.
And the scale of these videos is just incredible.
It's like watching a movie or a TV show.
Sometimes even better.
Some people are even calling it the Mr. Beastification of YouTube.
Yeah, I've heard that term thrown around.
Do you think he's, like, single-handedly responsible for this new era of high-production YouTube content?
I wouldn't say single-handedly, but
Okay.
he's definitely been a major influence.
Yeah.
His success has shown other creators what's possible.
Right. Like if you invest in quality,
Yeah. And if you're not afraid to push the boundaries
be creative,
and think big,
it can really pay off.
and not just financially either.
Right. And let's not forget about how he's changed philanthropy.
Totally. He's made it cool to give back,
It's like he's made it exciting.
especially for younger generations.
Yeah, it's not just about writing a check anymore.
It's about being part of something bigger,
Participate.
making a real difference.
And he's given them a way to do that.
And it's working.
It is. It's crazy to think about the amount of money he's raised.
Millions and millions of dollars.
All sorts of causes.
And he's raised awareness for so many important issues.
Yeah, like with hashtag Team Trees and hashtag Team Seas.
Nobody was talking about planting trees or cleaning up the ocean like that before.
It's true. And through Beast Philanthropy,
Yeah.
he's tackling food insecurity, educational disparities.
It's really remarkable what he's accomplished.
Yeah, it really is. But it's also sparked a whole conversation
About
the role of influencers
Right.
in driving social change.
can they really make a difference?
Yeah. Are they the right people to be leading these kinds of efforts?
It's a valid question.
It is. And I think whether you agree with his methods or not,
Wow.
you can't deny that he's had a positive impact.
On a lot of people's lives.
So is it safe to say that Mr. Beast is like a force for good in the world?
I think it's a little more complicated than that.
Yeah.
Like we've talked about, he's not perfect.
He's definitely got his flaws.
There have been some legitimate concerns raised about how he runs his business
Yeah. His treatment of employees.
and whether his philanthropy is exploitative.
It's a lot to consider.
He's a product of his time, you know?
Yeah.
He reflects both the good and the bad of our digital age.
He's a master of social media.
Absolutely.
He knows how to grab people's attention.
And he's built an empire on going viral.
But at the same time,
Yeah.
he's dealing with the ethical challenges of being so influential.
The constant scrutiny that comes with fame.
And I think that's what makes him so interesting.
Yeah.
He's this walking contradiction.
Right.
Symbol of our hopes and our anxieties.
He shows us the potential of the internet, but also the dangers.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I think it's clear that Mr. Beast is much more than just a YouTube star.
He's a cultural icon,
A force to be reckoned with.
and his story is far from over,
It'll be interesting to see what he does next.
with those hints about politics.
Yeah, his evolving views on social issues.
This constant drive to do bigger and better things.
Who knows what the future holds for him?
One thing's for sure, we'll be watching.
We will, and thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a wild ride.
It has. We'll be back next week with another deep dive into a whole new topic.
Looking forward to it.
Until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, and most importantly, keep learning.